If you walk in wearing the chat dress, I'll marry you.
If you can fit into this, Victor Kingsley raised a champagne glass, pointing to the red dress hanging in the center of the room. I will marry you right now. The explosion of laughter was instantaneous. 200 guests at the elegant fashion ball in Manhattan turned to see who was the object of the joke. Anna Carter, 29 years old, a cleaner at the hotel where the event was taking place, froze in a corner of the room with her cleaning cart in her hands. Her gray uniform, 2 sizes too big, hung loosely over her body, hiding the curves she had learned to be ashamed of. Victor Kingsley, 42 years old, petroleum magnate from the Persian Gulf with a fortune estimated at $2 billion, laughed too loudly. It was an ostentatious laugh from a man accustomed to being the center of attention. His white turban swayed as he gestured dramatically. I am serious. Does anyone have a pen and paper? Let us draft a contract right now. The dress in question was the centerpiece of the exhibition, an exclusive creation by the French designer Larsan Beaumont, valued at $850,000, size 2, with a wasp waist and a structured neckline, a work of art created for bodies sculpted in elite gyms and maintained by private nutritionists. Anna felt the heat rising up her neck, tinting her face red, which contrasted strongly with her black skin. Her eyes filled with tears that she tried to contain with fury. Not here, not in front of them. In 6 years working at luxury events, she had learned that the rich have a special talent for turning humiliation into entertainment. Come on, dear, cut the air, the voice of a woman in a gold dress. Proposals from lonely millionaires are not found every day. More laughter. Flashes of mobile phones capturing the moment for Instagram stories. Metropolitan funny moments. She lowered her head, gripped the handle of the cart so tightly that her knuckles turned white, and began to walk away. Every step was a struggle against the desire to run. Every laugh behind her was a blow to the back. Wait, shouted Victor, his voice still tinged with cruel amusement. Do not run away. The offer still stands. 30 days. If in 30 days you fit into that dress, I will keep my word. The crowd applauded as if watching a show. She did not turn around. She pushed the cart through the service door, and as soon as it closed, muffling the sound of the laughs, she leaned against the cold wall in the service hallway and finally allowed the tears to flow. But something happened in that empty hallway, between piles of clean towels and the smell of cleaning products. Something inside her did not break. It transformed. The shame began to boil until it became something more. Anger, determination, a promise. What none of those easily entertained guests knew was that Anna Carter was not just a cleaner. 6 years ago, she was a fashion design student at the Parsons School of Design with a full scholarship and excellent grades, until her 54-year-old mother suffered a devastating stroke. Anna had to choose between her dreams and her family's survival. She chose survival. She dropped out of university 2 semesters from graduating, took 3 jobs, and cared for her mother, who was paralyzed on the left side. For 6 years, she swallowed humiliations like this because she needed the money to pay for physical therapy, medications, and rent. But that night, something changed. She wiped the tears with the back of her hand, straightened her shoulders, and made a silent promise to herself. In 30 days, she would return. Not for the ridiculous marriage proposal, not for his approval, but to prove that no one had the right to define her by her appearance or position. What Victor Kingsley also did not know was that this innocent joke was about to trigger a chain of events that would not only destroy his carefully built reputation but also reveal secrets he had buried deeply under layers of money and influence. Because she would return, not alone, and when she returned, she would not only change her body. If you want to know how an invisible cleaner became the bomb that exploded the life of an arrogant millionaire, subscribe to the channel because what comes next will demonstrate that underestimating someone who has nothing to lose is the most costly mistake you can make. Anna did not sleep that night. Sitting in the narrow kitchen of her apartment in the Bronx, she opened her old laptop and wrote 3 words in the search bar. Victor Kingsley Scandals. The results filled the screen. Articles about his petroleum company, photos on yachts, charity dinners. But among the glamorous news, Anna found something more. A dark forum of former employees, complaints about labor violations filed cautiously, rumors of out-of-court settlements with women who had worked for him. Interesting, she murmured, saving the links methodically. The next morning at 5 a.m, Anna was at the 24-hour gym 3 blocks from her house. It was not an elegant place. Rusted weights, cracked mirrors, no air conditioning, But the monthly membership cost $20, and the owner, a former boxer named Rita, had an impartial look. "First time?" asked Rita, observing how Anna stood uncertainly at the entrance. "I have 30 days to fit into a size 34 dress." Rita raised an eyebrow. "And why do you want to do that?" "Because someone bet that I could not." A slow smile appeared on Rita's face. "Then let us make that son of a bitch eat his words. But you have to follow my training program to the letter, every day without exceptions." Anna nodded. What she did not say was that she not only wanted to fit into the dress, she wanted to destroy the man who thought she was a joke. In the following days, Anna built a brutal routine. Gym at 5 in the morning, work from 7 to 3 in the afternoon, another 2 hours in the gym, then home to care for her mother, and every night after her mother fell asleep, she returned to her laptop. This is how she found Laura Manning, former executive secretary of Victor, who had sued the company 3 years ago for sexual harassment and discrimination. The case was settled with a confidential agreement and a non-disclosure clause with a payment. But Laura had an anonymous blog where, without mentioning names, she told her story. Anna sent her a carefully worded message. 2 hours later, her phone rang. "You are the woman from the video," said Laura without preamble. "The humiliation at the Metropolitan Ball. I saw it on Twitter. It went viral." Anna's stomach sank. It went viral. 2 million views. But most of the comments are on your side. Anna paused. "Why are you coming to me?" "Because I saw your lawsuit and I have a feeling that you are not the only one." Silence on the other side. "Meet me tomorrow. I need to look you in the eyes before I tell you what I know." They met in a discreet cafe in Queens. Laura, 34 years old, with her dark hair pulled back in a perfect bun, had eyes that had shed all possible tears and now only contained steel. "Victor Kingsley is a monster," she said directly. "But a smart monster. He documents everything about everyone except himself. He has files on employees, business partners, even on his own family. He uses them as insurance. Where does he keep them? I do not know, but I know who might know." She slid a paper across the table. "Jacob, his ex-driver for 8 years. They fired him last month for breach of trust. In reality, because he saw something he should not have. Meanwhile, Victor continued his life as if nothing had happened. His advisors began to notice changes. He was obsessed with checking social networks, searching for the humiliation video, reading comments. This guy is repulsive. Imagine having so much money and so little class. Does anyone know who that woman is? I want to send her money." For the first time in years, Victor Kingsley felt something his money could not buy. Public shame. He called his public relations team. "Remove it from the internet." "Sir, we tried. The more we remove, the more they rehair it. There are online petitions with 50,000 signatures demanding that he apologize." Victor hung up furious. This insignificant woman was ruining his image. While he worried about public relations, Anna found Jacob, the ex-driver, a 50-year-old man with a tired face who agreed to speak for one reason only. "She destroyed my daughter. She worked in his office. She was 23 years old. He harassed her. When she refused, he fired her and spread lies. She cannot find work for 6 months. She is depressed." Jacob looked her in the eyes. "If you are going to bring down this man, I will help you." And then Jacob revealed the secret that would change everything. Victor kept his compromising files in a digital safe, but there was a physical backup copy in the apartment of his personal lawyer in Manhattan, and Jacob knew where the key was. 28 days after the humiliation, Anna was unrecognizable. She had lost 18 pounds, but it was not all. Her eyes had a new intensity. Her movements were precise, calculated. Rita watched her with pride while she completed her last training. "You did it," said Rita. "But I have a feeling that it was never just about the dress." Anna smiled without responding. That night she had 2 objectives: to fit into the dress and to destroy Victor Kingsley. The plan was risky. Jacob obtained access to the lawyer's apartment. The man would be out of town for the weekend. Anna gathered 3 other women who had been victims of Victor. All were ready to testify if they had concrete evidence. Anna had achieved something none of them expected. 2 weeks ago, while cleaning an executive suite in the hotel after an event, she found Victor's personal tablet left on the table. He would come back for it, she knew, but in the 15 minutes she had, Anna did something she had learned in her days at design school. She photographed compromising emails open on the screen, conversations about bribes to environmental inspectors, explicit messages to employees, suspicious bank transfers. It was not everything, but it was enough to start. The Metropolitan Fashion Ball was celebrating a second closing event, a charity auction where the red dress would be sold. Victor would be there, of course. He was the biggest donor, and he had no idea that Anna would also be there. The entrance to the hotel ballroom at the plaza was full of limousines when Anna got out of a simple Uber. She was wearing a discreet black dress that she had sewn herself, a skill she had never lost. The red dress would come later. Laura and the other women were already positioned among the guests with phone cameras ready. Jacob was outside in a rented car with a USB drive containing copies of all the backup documents from the lawyer. Everything was calculated to the second. Victor strolled through the room like a peacock, handing out handshakes and excessively white smiles. When he saw Anna enter, he did not recognize her immediately. She had changed, not only in the body but in the hair, the posture, everything. Only when she approached him directly did something click in his head. "Do you remember me?" asked Anna, her voice calm, cutting his conversation with investors. Victor blinked, then his face paled. "You said 30 days. She pointed to the red dress displayed on a mannequin in the center of the room. "Can I try it on now? Or do you prefer that I do it in front of everyone?" The room began to quiet as people realized what was happening. Someone whispered, "It is her, the woman from the video." Victor forced a nervous laugh. "Listen, it was a joke." "I did not mean to." Anna interrupted him, taking her phone out of her pocket. "Because I have the entire recording. 2 million views. Do you already want to make it 3 million? A murmur ran through the guests. The phone cameras began to rise. "What do you want?" said Victor, his facade of courtesy cracking. "Justice." Anna felt Laura and the 3 other women approach, forming a semicircle. "I want you to look at these women and admit what you did to them." Victor's face went through a sequence of expressions. Confusion, recognition, panic. "I do not know who they are." Laura Manning, lawsuit for sexual harassment in 2020. Sarah Chen, confidential agreement in 2019. Nina Rodriguez, fired after rejecting your advances in 2021. Lila Hayes, Anna made a dramatic pause, your own cousin, silenced by the family with millions of dollars. Gasps ran through the room. Lila, a 28-year-old woman in an elegant hijab, stepped forward, her eyes shining not with lies but with tears. "You are crazy," whispered Victor, but his voice trembled. "It is a lie." "Then explain these emails." She pointed to the screen that was supposed to show photos of the charity event. The images began to appear. Emails, messages, bank transfers, everything enlarged for the entire room. The sound system played a recording of Victor's voice. "If she does not accept the offer, destroy her reputation." "I do not care how." The silence was absolute. The journalists present at the event began to type furiously. The flashes exploded everywhere. "How did you get this?" Victor was pale as a sheet. "You underestimated a cleaner." Anna approached closer. "But here is the interesting part. I managed to fit into the dress. I tried it on yesterday. Size 34, perfect. So technically, you owe me a wedding." Nervous laughs ran through the room. "But Anna." "But I do not want to marry you. I want you to pay for what you did, and not only to me." She looked around the room. How many women here have been disrespected, humiliated by men like him, men who think that money gives them the right to treat people like garbage? Applause began, first timid, then thunderous. Women stood up, then men too. 2 guards approached Victor. "Sir, the police would like to ask you some questions about the bribes documented in those emails." Victor's empire collapsed in real time. His lawyer was arrested while trying to destroy evidence. 3 companies cancelled contracts worth millions of dollars. By midnight, the video of the confrontation went viral with 15 million views in 24 hours. When they took Victor away, he looked at Anna for the last time, not with anger but with something worse. A belated recognition that he had destroyed himself the moment he decided that she did not deserve respect. 3 months later, Anna's apartment in the Bronx had an unexpected addition. A professional sewing table, gifted by companies that saw her story. She was leaning over a sky blue fabric when her mother, now moving a little better after intensive physical therapy funded by online donations, entered with the help of a cane. "Dear, they are talking about you on television again." Anna smiled without looking up from her work. "Nothing, Mom." But her mother turned up the volume. The presenter spoke excitedly. In a development of the Kingsley scandal, the businessman has been sentenced to 3 years in prison for bribery and obstruction of justice. In addition, a $50 million fund was created to compensate the victims of harassment in his companies. Anna finally looked at the screen. She did not feel vengeful satisfaction, only a peace that comes from closing a chapter. Victor Kingsley lost everything. His company was sold in parts to cover fines and lawsuits. His family in the Persian Gulf publicly repudiated him. The tabloids followed him when he left the court in increasingly cheaper suits, without the arrogance that once defined every step. He became exactly what he had always feared: insignificant. But Anna did not build her victory on his ruins. She created something of her own. With the media attention came opportunities. The Parsons School of Design offered her a full scholarship to finish her studies. 3 fashion brands approached her for collaborations. And the red dress, that same dress, was donated to a charity auction that raised $120,000 for the education of low-income women. Anna did not buy it. She no longer needed it. She had already created 12 dresses of her own, each telling the story of a woman she met during those 30 days of transformation. She opened an NGO that provides legal support to victims of corporate harassment. Sarah returned to work in technology, now in a company that values her. Nina launched a podcast about survival and resilience that entered the top 10 in the country. Lila confronted her family, refused to be silent, and became a spokesperson for Arab women victims of abuse. One rainy day, Anna received a letter. There was no sender, only a scribbled message. "Anna, I do not expect forgiveness. I do not deserve it. But I must tell you that your grace forced me to look at myself in the mirror for the first time in decades. I saw a monster. I am paying for my actions, but the greatest punishment is knowing that I caused irreparable pain to people who did not deserve it. You did not destroy me. You exposed me, and that was more merciful than I have been with anyone." Anna read the letter once, folded it carefully, and stored it in a drawer, not as a trophy but as a reminder. Some men learn too late that power without humanity is only oppression in expensive clothes. On the day of her graduation at Parsons, Anna went up to the stage to receive her diploma under thunderous applause. Her mother cried in the front row. Rita, the trainer, waved her hand. Laura and the other women were there, a small family forged in fire and resilience. During the graduate speech, they asked her to speak. She approached the microphone in a red dress, not one that someone else designed, but one she herself designed. Simpler, more honest, more her. A few months ago, someone told me that I would never fit into a dress. They did not know that for years I had tried to fit into spaces that were not made for me. Jobs that humiliated me, relationships that silenced me, expectations that broke me. She paused. The dress was not the problem. The problem was that I thought I needed to change to deserve respect. Applause erupted, but Anna raised her hand. And so, I did not come here to tell a story of revenge. I came to tell a story of recovery. Because the best response to those who humiliate you is not to destroy them. It is to build something so true, so strong, that their opinion becomes just a distant noise. Later, among the audience, a 19-year-old girl approached timidly. "Excuse me for bothering you. I saw your video when I was 17. My stepfather called me fat. He said I would never achieve anything. But seeing you changed something in me. Now I am here, the first in my family to go to university." Anna hugged the girl, feeling warm tears on her shoulder. At that moment, she fully understood the true victory. It was not fitting into the dress or exposing a millionaire. It was becoming living proof that no one can define your value if you do not allow it. The sun was setting over New York when Anna returned home, diploma in hand and light heart. She passed by the gym where everything began. Rita was closing and waved through the window. She passed by the cafe where she met Laura. She passed by the hotel where she was humiliated. She looked at the building for a long time, then smiled and kept walking. Because some places serve to teach you who you no longer want to be, and once you learn the lesson, you do not need to return. If this story moved you, if you were ever judged for your appearance, silenced for your position, or humiliated by those who should respect you, subscribe to the channel and share. Because the greatest revolution is not proving that you can fit into spaces that rejected you. It is creating your own spaces where everyone fits. Give it a like if you believe that dignity is not asked for, it is earned. And remember, when some